Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Glad to see so many of you out on this cold winter night, which is always Cleveland and worse in East Cleveland. This is the regular council meeting, Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015, 6:30. Place, East Cleveland City Hall, council chamber, I.E. Courtroom. Call to order.
Councilor King,
Present.
Councilor Baker, Councilor Martin, Councilor Wheeler,
Present.
Councilor Thomas.
Present. Remarks of the public, agenda items only.
Now, we need to make a
Oh, I am so
motions.
sorry. Yeah, and I was looking right at it. I'm going to request a motion to suspend Rule 6, the suspension of rules, the 24-hour rule to introduce legislation, specifically resolution number 0815. I have a motion for that.
I will motion that we suspend the rules,
24-hour rule.
the 24-hour rule.
Second.
Councilor King,
Yay.
Councilor Wheeler,
Yeah.
Councilor Thomas.
Yeah. Okay, can I move on, Madam Clerk?
Yes. We can move on.
Minutes to be approved.
No, you
Wait,
need to
you-
make another.
I'd like to make a motion that we add resolution 08-15 to the agenda. Can we do them both at the same time?
Yes.
And that we add resolution 99-12 to the agenda.
No,
No?
only 08.
Only 08?
0815 to the agenda.
So I'd like to make a motion that we add resolution 08-15 to tonight's agenda.
Second.
Councilor King,
Yay.
Councilor Wheeler,
Yeah.
Councilor Thomas.
Yeah.
Resolution 0815 will appear after resolution number 0815 at the end of the agenda. Okay? And then we'll continue.
Well, thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, hearings, conduct and scheduling.
The remarks of public on agenda items only.
I did that, but it wasn't in
There's
there.
no remarks.
No.
Oh, Councilor Martin.
Hearing none, we will move on. Reports and announcements from the mayor. Is the mayor supposed to be in attendance?
I haven't spoken to him.
Okay. Let the record reflect that, the law director, Ms. Willa Hemmons, is present and is not, speaking for the mayor. Thank you. Let the record reflect that our counselor, Nathaniel Martin, has appeared in attendance. Hi, Mr. Martin, are you feeling
Hello,
better
how's
than
everybody?
yesterday? Are you feeling better than the other day?
A little bit better.
That's a good thing.
Thank you. Thanks for asking.
Since with the mayor's not here, I'm assuming that there is no announcements. Old business?
Oh, I do have one.
Yeah.
The snowplow truck should be here Monday.
Both?
Two of them.
Both.
Both of
Thank
them.
you.
Yeah.
That means that all the business is free and clear with the county, and we will have our contract as of when?
The contracts?
I got a contract coming, don't
Certainly.
I? Okay, I'm sure you'll take care of that.
I will. I will owe it to you.
Thank you. Confirmations of appointments,
New business.
new business. Next. Confirmation of appointments. We did have an appointment, but it comes under the resolution. Receipts of communications and petitions. Reports of council committees. Councilor King?
Thank you, Council President. I have no report at this time.
Okay. Counselor Nathaniel Martin.
Yeah, it's a personal appointment committee. About a month ago or two ago, I don't think I followed the proper procedure for dereliction of duty of the mayor. And it's sent to Ms. Hemmings, which I'm gonna follow up to see, what is the process that needs to be followed to make sure it's done. The dereliction of duty is dependent upon spending that shouldn't be spent, the deficit that we're in, etc. Our function as a council body, is basically two things that we do. We legislate. We pass laws to help the city and the city residents. And we appropriate. We give any mayor a certain amount of money for the whole year, like we're gonna do this year. After that, it's in his hands. It's his responsibility, whether it's him or her, or Houdini, to stay within that budget. And basically, the essence of the dereliction of duty is based on the fact that that hasn't happened in the last 5 years. Okay, it's not personal. You hear me say this all the time. This is basically an $11 million, $10 million corporation. We have to do what's right. You get a credit card. It's your responsibility to stay within that credit card. If you go after it, you get penalized. And I think the citizens have been penalized because the $11 million credit card we've been dealing with the last 3 years have been overspent consistently. So we cannot, Council President, cut. I don't see how this 500,000 going to be cut. I don't see that happening. I was on the streets, and they're not that bad. The sun came out, okay? But I think Cleveland Heights is helping us. So someone was telling me the Cleveland Heights trucks were helping us and all that. But we got to be able to provide the services for the citizens that pay taxes. So I will, for the record, get with Willie Hemmings. Hopefully, I will call her to sit down because I'm going to pursue this. You have to stay within your budget, and that's the responsibility of the administration. Okay.
Counselor, I also think you should make it very clear that the law director is also the prosecutor for the city.
Right.
And that you are directing it to the prosecutor of the city.
And I am. That's why I brought it up. And she's a nice person, and I wish her the best. Also, a copy of the dereliction of duty was sent to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor Tim McGinty, and a copy was sent to the Mike DeWine, the State Attorney General. So maybe something would come of it, maybe something may not. Okay. Madam Chairman, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Vice President, Councilor Thomas Wheeler.
I'm over health and safety, and we'll be posting probably next week a meeting for our committee to go over some of the new things as far as the fire department, police department with the manpower, and also some of the equipment that we've obtained. That's it for now.
Thank you. Well, I've given 2 reports. We had an executive council meeting, and I gave a report on the finances. Also, at that particular time, we were trying to find out from the mayor or from the administration when we were going to get the appropriations. We are now over half of the year, and we need to deal with the financial recovery plan, which we can't do until we have a balanced budget, which we don't have because the mayor has not submitted his what he's going to do with the cuts. And like the councilman said, you got to do now more than 400,000. You got to do 500,000-600,000 cuts. And at this particular time, I don't see where you're gonna get it from, but the mayor has not referred it to us at this time. I talked to, the auditor's financial area, and they're still waiting to have, the appropriation, delivered, because they can't move. Actually, we're at a stalemate because of the fact that we can't do the budget. What we did was, put through a temporary budget, which was in essence supposed to be, 2 months. And there was an error in their figuring, so we had to come back and correct that. So now they got until the end of this month, which is February, to produce a final draft of appropriation so we can do the recovery plan. Also, the police and fire have talked to us and brought figures as to the issue of bringing in part-timers and filling those part-times in vacant spaces, which will have a cost savings to us. The fire department likewise. And I looked over the figures that the police chief and the fire department had, but we're going to get with Law Director Hemmings and the Director Johnson and myself to see if the figures really come to the cost savings that they were alluding to. They also, when I looked at them, is to eliminate the high volume of overtime. And that's what we're looking for. The chief is looking to replace policemen that have left, retired, or otherwise. So we're looking into that, and we're gonna try real hard to see if we can't come to an agreement to fill the spaces and with the cost savings. We don't want to eliminate bodies, but we don't want to overflow with bodies. So I'm trying to see if we can't come to, like I said, an agreement, whereas we will have a cost savings in the police department and the fire department. We had 2 trucks that was donated to us, which was the fire department. And I think we had 1 truck running, 1 salt truck running. They did a good job. I don't know who else was out there, but they were doing a good job, except on the side streets.
Exactly.
And as big as Cleveland is, I'm telling you, I sat there and I watched the news, and those side streets were horrendous in Cleveland, and specifically over on 152nd in Palencic area. He was out there jumping up and down because nothing had been done, and the cars were stalled. Now, they got the trucks, but they were concentrating on the main streets. And the city council for Cleveland has just passed monies for the lake shore. So he was upset about that, and he was one of those individuals that did not vote for that. I don't know who the other one was. But that just goes to show you that everybody else is having the same problems, but on a wider scale. So I'm saying kudos to the drivers of that 1 truck, and if we had some help, I greatly appreciate the help that we did have. That is the conclusion of my report. Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
Proclamations, a letter of condolence to the family of Grady Warren Bedingfield. You have something?
Yes, this is the letter of condolences to the family of Grady Warren Bedingfield. I knew both the wife and Mr. Grady. I used to call him my fella too because he was one of those neighbors, friends, and constituents in my ward. He lived on 125th. East Cleveland City Council would like to take the time to extend our condolences to your family concerning your recent loss of your loved one, Grady Warren Bedingfield, who went home to be with the Lord on January 18th, 2015. Grady was the beloved husband of Margaret Bedingfield, loving father of Sharon Sanders, cherished grandfather of 2 and great-grandfather of 2, dearest brother of Doris Taylor, and host of many other relatives. We encourage you to remember that God's grace is sufficient to see you safely through these difficult times. He knows the depth of your loss and the strength and great love freely given to each of you for comfort and support. He promised to all his children is that he would never leave you nor will he forsake you. On behalf of all the members of East Cleveland City Council, please know that our prayers are with your family. The Bedingfields were married 60 years and he passed away just before their last anniversary. So 60 years is a long time. And I appreciate the fact that my council is sending condolences. Let the record reflect that the Honorable Gary Norton, Mayor, has graced his presence at the council. Backing up, Mr. Mayor, do you have any remarks? Because I'll go back to you. Remarks?
I think the law director probably told you some things that are germane, and it's good to see you.
She told us one thing.
What was that?
Bus truck. I mean, so she's about the, what was it?
Both
Both of the trucks will be arriving next week.
Next week?
Okay.
It's always next week.
Yeah. Is that the items that is germane, or is there any more? That's it. Thank you. Moving right along, Madam Clerk.
Counselor King, you need to recuse yourself on this one, please. And I'll come out here to this one again. This is resolution number 60-14, second reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to transfer to Brandon L. King at a cost of $1,000 a parcel of land held by the city as part of its land reutilization program and located at 15612 Oak Hill Road, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112, permanent parcel number 673-27-002.
This resolution was sponsored by Councilor Mansell Baker, but my vice president is, will be taking over that sponsor. Is that what you wanted? Okay. No, are you going to sponsor? He's going to sponsor resolution 60-14 and move for its adoption. Is that what you're going to do?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Counselor Martin?
Abstain.
Counselor Wheeler?
Yeah.
Counselor Thomas?
Yeah. Fail. Madam Chair? Give me
Resolution number 01-15, second reading. A resolution authorizing the
you
mayor.
didn't say what the, no, 60-14 is failed.
60-14 failed.
Yeah. You don't have.
Don't have enough votes.
No.
Resolution number 01-, thank you.
Okay.
number 01-15, second reading, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a collective bargaining agreement for the periods effective January 1st, 2011 through December 31st, 2015. The Municipal Foreman and Laborers Union Local 1099 Charter, Municipal County and State Employees Local 1099, Laborers International Union in North America, AFL-CIO.
Madam Chairman, I sponsor resolution 01-15 and move for its adoption.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is
Any discussion?
this a collective bargaining piece, and my understanding it involves two people basically, and there's no problem with it. The union people are all right with it. This is placed for the second reading here today. So this is the second reading, so it just needs 3 votes.
Okay, thank you. Ready for the vote?
Counselor King,
Yay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Wheeler,
Yay.
Counselor Thomas.
Yay.
Ayes have it.
Okay.
Resolution number 08-15, a resolution concurring it is in the best interest of the administration and court to fill the open positions of Deputy Law Director and Deputy Clerk of Courts in the city of East Cleveland and declaring an emergency. Pass the gavel to council.
You got
Vice
it.
President.
Sponsored by, Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Pleasure.
I will sponsor, resolution 08-15 and move for its adoption.
I second the motion.
We move seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, there was concern by one of the citizens, and it was also, I had a concern about us following proper procedure in terms of when we do something, we legislate it. And I'm hoping that this covers it. We need to do it the right way, and it's been discussed among some of us up here, so I have no problem.
Yes, for clarification, I talked to, both, Mr. Pittman and our director, and, this, resolution, when we did it before, it was all right.
Mhm.
Basically, what we're doing now is just for a tracking. And you do by resolution, and that's what it is. But he had no problem with what we did before, and my law director had no problem. So we're going on, but this is a tracking mechanism. If anything comes up, we will be able to say resolution number 0815. Moving right along, call the roll, please.
Call the roll.
I'm sorry.
Counselor King,
Yay.
Counselor Martin,
Yay.
Counselor Wheeler,
Yay.
Counselor Thomas.
Yay.
Passes.
Okay. We're going on.
Remarks from the press and public.
What are we doing with 90 minutes? Nothing?
No,
Okay.
this, yeah, it was their comparison meeting.
All right, okay. Remarks and requests of the public. Mr. O'May, you're just in time. Let that be signed. Glad to see you.
Thank you, glad to be seen and not you. Oh, Mays, I know you're past 08-15, it does not appear on the agenda, but anyway, I beg to differ with Pittman and whomever else whom you spoke to. As I said before to some of the council members, I won't call your name, that you speak through legislation. So if anyone question as to whom authorized, giving the mayor the authority to appoint those persons, if you put a freeze on, and so therefore you have to answer in reference to the freeze as to legislation. You can't come up here and just say, oh, well, okay, authorize the mayor to do this, that, and the other. The mayor doesn't have anything in writing or whatever, so it come back to bite you in the posterior. So you did it the correct way, and as I said before, I do not care what this one said or that one said in reference to that. That is the way council speaks, through legislation. And then looking at the freeze that you put in place on whatever day it was, month was, it does not have the mayor to it, does not have whether it was vetoed or not, or you overrode the veto. That's not complete. So that needs to be looked at as well. I think you need to visit that piece to see whether you did override the veto and when did you override the veto, because it isn't signed by the mayor. So I'm just trying to keep you legal. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. So Mr. King, did you get your piece?
No, we didn't.
Okay, but anyway, that's what I said. And then coming in City Hall, it's terrible. It's terrible. I don't know whether we have anybody here to maintain the appearance of City Hall. You're coming in here, it look like you're walking in. It just, I have never. I think I've been here around here here longer than anyone in here, and been coming to the City Hall longer than I think anyone in here. And I have never, in my history of East Cleveland City Hall, seen it in the condition that it's in now. The floors, all of that salt and everything else in here, it's just pitiful. From the door all the way in here as well. It's terrible. It is terrible. And the City Hall is terrible. I understand that we don't have any money, but you could have the court, the indigent, the people that are unable to pay their fines or whatever, to do something around here to clean up. I don't know whether Walter's still here. I know he kept this place in check. So it is terrible, and we need to do something about it. It's a reflection on us. It's a reflection.
At least you know we got salt.
Yeah, you got salt, but I mean, look at City Hall.
Good evening, Kelvin Irby, 14802 Elm. Mr. Martin, I'm gonna add a little more to what you stated about prosecuting. Also, you need to add the finance director into the misappropriated funds and where they are, because we need to know where our tax money went to. No use of going after the mayor if you don't go to the finance director too. Y'all wanna cry about trucks? What happened to the old ones? They still supposed to be working somewhere. If they ain't running in the summertime, that's when you put them in the shop. There's no way we supposed to be down to one salt truck. Part-time police and fire, for what? For what? Y'all protecting gas stations. Protecting gas stations. 7 times my house been broken into. 7 times.
Yes, I forgot to
7 times.
Yes.
What brought me in here for? Gas stations, they well protected. My house ain't. I got alarm system. If anybody went down toward University Circle, they got a bowling alley. They developed. What do we have? Why we don't have it? We had a hospital, it's gone. What's sitting there? Nothing. Forest City and Euclid. A traffic light that is in flash mode. To generate revenue, or the clock is falsely not working. Needs to be turned on and working properly. There are no parts missing in it. The person that made this statement and said it is telling y'all lies.
What you talking about, the Forest Hills?
That light is supposed to be put right back in
You're saying
order.
it's working?
It is in working order. it needs to be put back in order. Flip the switch, turn it off flash mode, or either flip the switch, put it in conflict. That means yellow to the side that's not evasive,
Mhm.
and red to the side that's evasive.
And you're an electrician, right?
And not only that.
Thank you.
Hello, how you doing today?
How you doing?
Okay, my name is Latisha Bob. I live here in East Cleveland.
That's not on, sir.
Which
That's
one's
not
on?
my speech.
That's not on, you know, you. I
Oh,
can't-
okay, oh, I'm sorry.
No, we sorry to hear.
And when I went off, I graduated from Shaw High School, and when I went off to college, I never came back because there wasn't no opportunities here for when you were college educated. So now that I'm back here, I live on Strathmore, and the streets are horrible on Strathmore. You know, it's no people. My mother been over there for almost 50 years. She don't deserve to live like that. When the election came, they did one half of the street, and then after the election come, they left it. They didn't even do the other half. So we got potholes. You know, I had to replace 2 tires. You know, but people on Strathmore, we can fix the street, but we want to know, can we buy those houses over there for $1? Sell them houses to investors. We'll fix the street ourselves. We're not asking for nothing, because believe me, I done seen this in New York, Chicago, and a bunch of other cities. I see exactly what's happening. And I don't want the people of East Cleveland to get discouraged, because in a few years, 5 years, this is going to be the most valuable property in Cuyahoga County. You understand? This is going to be the most valuable property when y'all move. When they tore down that hospital, that was to break this city up. Because senior citizens are not going to live where there's no hospital. And the senior citizens have been holding this town up. So now you're going to have a senior citizen leaving. This is the most valuable area in Cuyahoga County. I've been in real estate all my life. I know. You buy any investment, you buy cheap when the property is low, because it can't do nothing but go up. So don't get discouraged. But we can take it one block at a time. And I wish if you could sell these houses, I put some investors together, put them back on the market where you generating taxes. You not, when a house is broke down, windows broken, you ain't getting no tax money out of it. Get $1, put it back on the market. You have money to pay for this. It's a gold mine here. Business now is run through the internet. When it's summertime here, it's wintertime someplace else. And people at a certain age want to be in an 80-degree temperature all year round. Think outside the box. Don't be discouraged. This right here is the place to be. I came here to elect Obama in Ohio, to win Ohio for Obama. I haven't left here since 2008 because this is the most powerful state in the union. We elect presidents here.
Right.
You know, you cannot, you got a Republican president come here. We could stop Bush right here in Ohio. Now, I'm not saying that you be a Democrat, but the best thing to be is be independent. Don't think in one category.
Come on now.
We're going to be whores, excuse me, we're going to be, let's get paid.
Let's get paid, your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
And I thank you for your comment.
All right, thank you.
Hello, my name is Juanita Kennedy, and how y'all doing today? I made it here, I came off my job because I was on my street, and we have a lot of elderlies on our street. And they done went to Garfield and skipped Rosalind. And they is independent elderlies. And those is one thing that I would speak for, is the children and the elderlies. When they can't get out their driveway, and have to come out and try to shovel the snow off the street. Not on their, you know, not in their driveway, but on the street to get out. We got a problem. Now, this little skipping that y'all doing, y'all shouldn't be skipping now. Go down one street, go down the other street. If you can clear one street, you can clear the other. It ain't no in between, and that's what I see when I'm riding down the street, it's in between. Y'all doing what you want to do, or you got the people doing what they want to do, and it's not adding up to the real reality. The reality is you do one street, do the next street over, you know, keep on going. That's how you get the job done, but now y'all got to backtrack. So now, the elderlies on my street, and I'm in Ward 2, and I am a precinct, and I am going to speak for my ward. We need to get busy. Because I do not want them to break a leg. I do not want them to end up in the hospital with pneumonia. And I'm just saying, do something with our street. And then we have a big hole. Now, when I told y'all about the hole, y'all did Garfield, but you did not do that little hole. The hole was only this small at first. Now it's real big, so a tire can fit in. So what y'all did patch up Garfield, but you forgot the hole. So, you know, when I come up here, I'm not just coming up here for myself. I'm coming up here for the community that I'm speaking for. Because we supposed to be in East Cleveland suburbs. We paying taxes like suburbs. But it don't look like a suburb. And I applaud this man right here trying to say, sell the house for $1. You know, get East Cleveland back on track, because Silverman's is going out of business, y'all. Now, I remember Silverman when I was a little girl. And you know what? They got some good quality stuff in there. And a lot of people is on buses. See, y'all, we don't even have our own forget the ARAMs today, okay? We talking about, we don't even have our own mall. We don't have nothing hardly here. And for them to lose Silverman's, that's like a Monday. I mean, this is like in our heart right now, you know. This is something that we already know that we shouldn't be losing. But I don't know what y'all got planned for the future. But whatever you got planned for the future, let the community in on it. Because we've been locked out y'all world for a long time. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Paul Britton Davis. I live at 1367 Shelby. There's a leak, gas leak, water leak running down Shaw. I don't know when it started, but it's ineffective right now. I've been coming up here for a long time, and I ain't throwing no darts at none of y'all, but when you keep saying, you know, it's the person higher up, I guess you're talking about the mayor, or you're talking about yourself. I done heard that many times, so, excuse me, Martin, you just repeating yourself. We know that. We know that you didn't gave him money or whatever. We heard that 100 times. So, and that was the same problem when
Mr. Brewer.
Brewer was here. You know, but my thing is, y'all supposed to work together. You can't walk in his office and sit down and talk to him about whatever. I mean, it should be like that, you know, but if it ain't, just keep trying. Keep knocking on the door. That's where I come from. Keep knocking on the door. But we know that it's higher up, but y'all the ones that's high. Y'all the ones where the money comes. He got to get money from y'all.
That's right.
Y'all are higher up. Y'all have the last say. So, you know, let's just try to fix it and stop pointing. You know, y'all need help. We need help. That's why we're here. We're here because we want to help. It ain't about blaming people. Forget, we'll blame after we fix it. The point right now is fix it. And stop throwing darts at it. That's not going to get it. Like this water thing on Shaw.
Fuel leak.
I mean, fuel leak.
Fuel leak.
Thank you, fuel leak.
No house was evacuated.
You know, so things like this here. Now, this is what kills me. If it's a water leak or gas leak in Cleveland Heights, it's out Euclid, they come fix it. 6 months, 7 months, we had a water leak on Shaw. I don't get it. Cleveland's Cleveland, when they there, well, they supposed to come and fix that. You had kids walking all out in the street coming down Shaw. Am I right?
That's right. No sidewalk.
You know, I mean, it's snowing, ice, so they got to walk out in the street. Sidewalk way over there. But it's fixed now, but I don't get it. Why can't the water people fix it when it's broke? Right then and there. Especially on the main street. Now, we had that leak out here on Euclid,
Time is
came
up.
right and fixed it.
Time is up, Mr. Bone.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
There's no more, remarks from the public?
Yes, ma'am, I have a very important one. It's due to safety. And that is at Euclid and Euclid and at the shopping center in your ward. There must be a sign there stated 50 feet, it's a four-way stop or whatever. There is nothing there. If you have an accident there, somebody, the city's gonna be liable for it because you only have the 4-stop sign. And as he said about the light, it must be a sign stating before you get to the light, because we've had people come through the city are not cognizant of that situation. They come through the light, they got a ticket, they ticket them. So, as you said, somebody said, it's an accident waiting to happen. They must put signs up that you enter a 4-way stop or whatever, and they are not up there. That is what the state laws require.
Thank
Not
you,
only state,
Mr.
it's
O'May.
also in our ordinance
Thank
as
you,
well.
Mr. O'May.
Thank you.
It's time for, Mr. Mayor, you've heard, from the residents of the city. Do you wish to address their remarks?
Sure. I'll try and take them point by point. Selling houses for $1 is a great idea. Just one difficulty that we have is in order to sell a house, you have to own a house. So all these houses out here are owned by people, they're owned by banks, they're owned by institutions, some of them, and a couple of them are owned by the city. Whoever owns those houses has the right to sell them or not sell them. We don't own 95% of them, so we don't have the right to sell them or not sell them. So if you want to sell something, you have to first own it. We don't own them, so we can't sell it. There are potholes. There are potholes in many, many places, and we certainly appreciate those people who say something. And those of you who know this, that I've made this statement several times. If we had enough money to patch potholes as they occur all the time, we would patch them all the time as they occur. It's as simple as that. If we don't patch them, which there are some cases we haven't been able to, it's because we do not have the resources available to do so. Traffic lights on blink. That traffic light is broken. Members of council are aware of that, and it costs about $30,000 to fix. We're searching for a revenue source that would allow us to fix that traffic signal. Certainly, we'd rather have a full functioning traffic signal than a non-functioning traffic signal. Consequently, there's a traffic law in Ohio that says if there's a blinking red light, you stop and treat it like a stop sign. In order to reinforce that fact, we did take some stop signs and put them up at the light. Some people are amused by that, but the reality is whether we put a stop sign up there or not, the traffic law in Ohio is if there is a blinking red light, you stop. We just want to remind people of that. You know, I could go on and on and on about these things and any litany of issues that people may have, but they all boil down to symptoms that are the result of the same root cause, or just a couple of causes. For years in East Cleveland, we've been treating these issues like they're one after the other, and in some cases unrelated. We attribute them to a fault of an elected official or a fault of an appointed official who works for the city. But the reality is, they're no individual's fault, they're nobody's fault. They're structural deficiencies based on the economic formula that funds East Cleveland because it doesn't work anymore. East Cleveland has 17,000 people, 5,000 of whom work. The types of jobs this place is built for and once inhabited by 40,000 people. Right now, you have 5,000 people who are paying to operate the place that once housed 40,000 people. That math never works, no matter who you try and blame it on. Again, that is among the many root causes. We all know that our population has declined significantly. We all know that manufacturing jobs have been shipped overseas, never to return to America, period, let alone the city of East Cleveland. Those things are faced not only by East Cleveland, but by this region and many suburbs who do not have the economies of scale that it takes to fix all of these things. It has little or nothing to do at this point with any individual. It has little or nothing to do with management or mismanagement. It has little or anything to do with the political will to change it. We all have the political will to change it, but the question is, do we have the ability as individuals to change it? What we have to do in East Cleveland is stop looking at these things as individual problems caused or fixed by individuals. We need a structural solution to these structural problems. These problems are not going to go away. These problems are not going to be fixed until we as a community do something that goes beyond the mayor, that goes beyond the council, and create a structural solution to this structural challenge.
That's true. Yes, amen.
No, true, man.
That's
That's
true.
true.
That's
You
wrong.
can
That's
change
sweeping it right back
laws.
under
You
the
can
rug.
change laws.
That's sweeping it under the rug.
It is,
That's
right.
like shaking it up.
Pardon me,
That's shaking it up.
Mr. Shabazz, I respect you very much, and I respect everybody in here. And when I give you the opportunity to come before, according to the rules and regulations set forth in the charter, in the codified ordinance, you have the authority vested in us that you can come up here and speak on whatever topic you want according to the agenda. Now you have spoke. Now, we asked the mayor to speak before, and he said he didn't have a comment. But he does have a comment now, and they were many. Regardless of whether we like him or don't like him, he spoke. And he's sitting there. He didn't run out the courtroom like he usually do. I appreciate that.
I walk, I don't run.
Okay. Well,
And actually, I have to walk.
maybe you're getting older and you're slowing down.
No,
Okay,
I
so,
never run.
is that, you may continue with your remarks if you have any more.
I'm done. But I do need to leave in a few minutes for a
Okay.
family matter.
All right. The response of the mayor has spoken, and now we have the response of the council directed to the residents and their concerns about the city. I think I'm gonna go the opposite direction. Ask my Vice President, Mr. Thomas Miller, do you wanna address any of these concerns at this present time? A man of little words.
I guess I have little to say because sometimes I'm just baffled. How we try to move things forward. And just some of the simplest things are such a challenge. And some of us set up here have been for 12, 14 years. And some of us make it a challenge. And I don't understand why. Now, if I'm out of line, then correct me, but we just voted on the legislation, or resolution 6014. And made it where the neighbor next door to this house on Oak Hill has been calling, complaining for over 2 years. He said sell a house for $1. We got to deal with somebody who was buying a house before they ran for council. We've given this guy such a hard way to go. The neighbor's still calling because the chimney is collapsing into his yard.
Still
Can't get nothing done to the house because the house is in limbo. The buyer can't purchase it because council keep holding it up. For whatever reason, it's been before the state, the ethics committee, everybody sent letters in regards to it. It's been approved. We still refuse to let it go. That's part of the mind process that's holding up and killing the city. It's been killing it for years. Maybe the mayor's hard to catch, but I catch him every time I go to his office. I mean, we got to try. You can't just give up. I mean, if you give up, then quit. Let somebody else do it. That's the way I see it. And to be honest with you, over this year, I've gotten fed up. This is ridiculous. The relationships is uncalled for the way they are. They're negative. The traffic lights, I see them. And I know some of us on council is trying to work for it to get a better solution to resolve those problems, and that's fine. But this city is in a terrible situation right now, and it goes beyond. It's not about name calling. It's not about who's right or who's wrong. We're all in it together. You're either in it to help save the city or get out. That's the way I see it. I was born and raised out here. I hate to see what it's going through, but we got to do better. And it's only going to start by working together. And that already has been the challenge the city's had for years. People who come in and record the council meetings, all they put out after that is negative publicity, negative stuff. Why? Well, if it's not going to help build the city better, then why put out the negative stuff? See what you can do to help. Put out something positive. O'May's, I agree with him. Inside City Hall, it's horrible. I just talked to the chief of staff, Ask them, could we buy some flowers, some plants, put up in the front, show some life in the building. I mean, ask somebody to donate it. I mean, we gotta start somewhere. Well, I go on and on with it, but,
Please don't.
you know, if anybody got suggestions, solutions, I'm open for it. And once again, I think I got a pretty decent relationship with the administration to call them and see if we can get it done. And if we can't get it done, I'll tell you, we can't get it done, but I'll give you an answer. That concludes my comments for tonight.
Thank you, Vice President. And the reason I went this way is because I think that we're going to continue to say the same thing in the same old way every time we come over here to council. But the only thing that I really want to reiterate that the Vice President said, and a lot of you have said, if you stop making excuses and make adjustments, and that's my motto, stop making excuses and make adjustments. And Mr. Shabazz, yes, you can buy a house for maybe $100. There's some in the land bank, and you can go up online and see what's available and come back and deal with it. I wish we could just say, I give you a house for $1, and if you want the houses in, you can find some nice houses maybe in the land bank. But you could make it your business to go up online and find these owners and see. They might, being that it's a problem out here, want to give up houses. And as far as the city and the police, I looked at the police running up and down the street trying to deal with, I don't care if you got 17,000 or 1. A robbery, and if you look up there, they're always selling something about alarms and how many robberies takes place, how many homicides takes place. And like I said before, the young lady from Mount Roslyn, my precinct person, everybody feels for the seniors. I'm a senior myself. And I was snowed in yesterday. Couldn't go nowhere. And it's not about what you do, it's how you do it. Like I said before, and I don't want to keep repeating this, Polinsky is supposed to be one of the most powerful councilmen in Cleveland. He was standing out there today yelling and screaming about a side street in his ward. Now I'm sure if he could do something about that, he would have done something. And somebody else said, we got no money. No, we don't have money, but the money is we're trying to reach and get all the resources that we can. I've worked on these 2 trucks for don't know how long. First, you got to remember that we're under the control of the state. The governor has placed a commission over us. They can't tell us what to do, but they're there, and your tax money is going to them for guidance. And if we talk to the mayor and say, Mayor, I had a hole over there by White Castle. I don't know if you all seen it, but the water was gushing up from the ground. And I called Mr. Antonio Marshall, who is now over the service department. He was very nice. He went over there and he looked at it, he called me back and he said, Council Thomas, yes, there is water gushing up out of the ground. And he talked to the water department. But at the same time, the water department got broken mains all over Cleveland and East Cleveland. Now, what do you think if we belong to East Cleveland? We be in the same, if we belong to Cleveland, we be in the same quagmire that they are in now. Nobody's saying that we're not trying to do what we can. But it is not, it's our responsibility to take care of the residents, and it just so happened they're partitioned off into wards. And I happen to have downtown East Cleveland. and I love downtown East Cleveland. But it sits next to the University Circle, yes. And I'm gonna say this to the young man that talked about University Circle. University Circle has an association, organization that puts money into the pot. And that's businessmen from all around and outside of University Circle. So yes, I saw the new bowling alley. I'd love to have a bowling alley here. I would have loved to have where you go and get your license. I'd like to have a license bureau. That was one of my things I could have. I wanted. But we can't have those things until we have organization. And organization comes from within. And I done said this before, and I'm going to stop saying it. Stop making excuses and make adjustments. That means all of us got to come out and come with the thinking cap. And if you come up here with a project that works or can work or can bring money to the city, ain't nobody gonna turn it down. You brought a thing about $1, and I'm telling you, go after it and bring it back here to the council and to the contracts and property committee and the zoning and all of that, and see what we can do about it. As far as the traffic lights, it's in my ward out there, and I can guarantee you, all of us have not paid it any attention until we started dealing with it, being on TV, talking to the reporters and the media, and all that got a hold to it, and it has not made a difference because they've done all they could do. And when I talk to the administration, and I've talked to electricians that were there before, we have independent electricians that we use. Those independent electricians have to have money. Have to have money. If you can't pay them, they're not coming. So I'm just saying these are the kind of things that we're into right now. And basically, if we had the monies, every counselor up here would have a city phone again. But that has not stopped this council from answering your question. They're using their own phones. They're paying their own bills. We have not been able to pay, this is, when I say we, I'm not saying the mayor and whomever else. I'm saying we have not been able to meet the obligation of paying for our employees' health care. And I said this before, we are behind in the health care. We also are behind in other things that we need bad. Very, very bad. When it gets down to nitty gritty of where your lights is gonna be cut off, and that was a threat. Where your gas is gonna be cut off, that was a threat. You gotta turn around, and that old saying, rob Peter to pay Paul, y'all know about that. Everybody in here knows about it. Because what you wanna do, you got seniors that take a half a pill as opposed to taking a whole pill. Well, we're taking half pills here. There's other things that need to be directed. You know, it's, and like the vice president is saying, if you come up with a solution to the problem, it boils down to money. I don't care who got it. It boils down to money. You cannot walk up the street and buy anything without the money.
That's right.
Now you tell me to follow the money, you ask me where the money